Welcome to After the Final Bell, a podcast about what happens when an adrenaline-fueled career comes to an end and real life begins. Hosted by UFC striking coach Mike Gonzales and YouTube bounty hunter Trevor O'Connor.
It's not just about fights anymore. It's about what happens when the gloves come off.
And the real adventure begins.
Join Mike and Trevor as they chat about the highs, the lows, and everything in between. Life after the final bell isn't always easy, but it's always interesting. This is After the Final Bell.
Well, what I will say is every single thing that we have ever been taught about history is wrong.
You mean ancient history?
I don't believe in dinosaurs. I don't think that they're real. See?
You don't believe in dinosaurs either?
No.
I don't believe that they're real.
Click the join button now to become a member and gain access to all the behind-the-scenes footage.
The dinosaur
What are
ridge?
we going to see?
Just wait and find out.
Nobody has ever broken that treaty because they know that if you broke that treaty, you would absolutely explode all of the lies that they have told us about globe Earth. But
What is the dome?
so it's a firmament. So they speculate on what it's made out of. That's
So
always-
are there aliens?
Join us weekly for our members-only live podcast, but only when you click that join button.
I already had a Rumble account when I had Power Slap. I was watching Power Slap. I had to watch it.
What's up, guys? I'm Trevor O'Connor. Sitting across from me 40 times.
40.
40 times, Mike Gonzales.
What's up? How you doing?
How you been?
Good.
I haven't talked to you much this week.
No.
You've been busy.
Busy. Trying to be busy.
You're busy.
Trying to quit scrolling is what I'm trying to
Why
quit
you stay so
doing.
busy? You used to chat with me. You used to text with me through the week.
Because then I just like scroll
I'm
until you
looking.
text. It's like,
I'm looking.
you know?
I don't think we even talked.
No. I think we talked once. And
Barely.
That was today when you said, I said, what time you coming? 5. All right, 5.
Yeah. So, anyway, this is After the Final Bell, a podcast about what happens when an adrenaline-fueled career comes to an end and real life begins.
That's the
And the three of us fit that category.
Yes,
some
sir.
way.
We are joined today by in-studio guest, Mr. Rocky Johnson. Rocky,
How's it going, guys?
how are you, my man?
I'm doing well.
I haven't seen you in a while.
It's been a while since I've been on stage.
It's been a while since you've wandered into like northern public, I think.
I'm a Southern guy. Yeah,
You stay down, like you're way south.
I'm Parker.
Yeah. There's still people down there, I guess.
Unfortunately,
way up
way too many now.
Really? More
Oh.
people?
Yeah.
You know who moved down your way is Howie Spratt.
Really?
He might be south of you.
How long were you out? Were you living in Parker when there was nobody?
I've been down in the Parker area / Elizabeth since about 2000.
Oh, okay. So that's real far.
Oh
And-
yeah, before the weirdos moved down there.
Yeah.
Well, before it got
The homesteaders in the
taken over from all the other states that vote for shit that they run away from, and then vote for the same shit that they ran away from.
yeah. There's we call it what
Stupidity.
California.
Both.
We're California now.
Yeah.
Colorado.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I actually went down and saw Howie. It's been a little while, but we went down to his house and had lunch. And I needed snacks
for
for the drive.
That's out there.
It was
Parker's
dude.
out there.
no.
Yeah.
He's like, I think he's even south. He's like Elizabeth.
That's east of us. Yeah, that's where I lived for a while.
It's
There.
that way.
Well, get you away from.
It's where we don't go.
Yeah.
It's,
I mean, it would be
get you away
nice.
from most of the weirdos.
Yeah.
No, I've actually.
Nice and quiet.
Obviously, all of our fans know, and everyone around. I'm pretty much a recluse. I go long periods of time, like 15, 16, 17 days without even leaving the house.
Wow, I can't do that for
Really?
half a day. No,
Oh yeah, no problem.
I find stuff to do.
No. There's
If-
like it gets to a point where people are trying to find a way to get me to go out.
That's a good thing.
Maybe.
Maybe not.
But I've been a lot better lately.
Yeah.
Because when I first got back, we were in Florida filming the old show
Right.
for the last couple of years. And then when we first got back, it would be like 2 weeks, no problem. I didn't leave the house. And then I'd leave for one little thing and then another 2 weeks.
Now you're leaving a little bit more.
Now I just keep leaving.
You left what, twice, 3 times this week?
It's too much.
No. You should get out. No, it's not.
Dude, it's too much.
You should get out.
I just really people today.
You just what?
I was really people-y.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's where you got a lot of energy coming
And
in.
my voice is a little scratchy.
Would you smoke a cigarette?
He's over the people.
No, because I was doing commentary for like 4 hours.
That's
And
a long
so
time.
sometimes I get excited and I
Start.
yell and,
Yeah.
and say things.
Yeah.
And I could tell, like, on the way home, I was like, oh, I should have had more throat lozenges, but whatever. So, backstory. Rocky Johnson is also a former MMA fighter from the local state and regional circuit.
Mm-hmm.
I did
In and around.
out of country and stuff too.
Oh,
so.
well.
Not that I ever want to go back to Canada.
Oh, you thought that doesn't count.
They take 33% of your fight purse right off the top.
Oh, that was, you guys got it.
Oh, that's worse now. I think it's 40, 45 now.
Where did you get it at? Where was that fight?
That was when we went to New Zealand when Chepe fought in Australia.
Australia.
It was 40, I think.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think when we
And
went
then-
to Singapore, I think it was 20, 25, I think.
But
But they don't. They didn't tell me.
Oh, they did. Oh,
no, they don't tell you.
In Canada, they just hand me. I'm like, I didn't get to negotiate this. What the hell?
I'm like, where's my
You're like, you're missing some money.
Yeah.
my check's light?
I'm like, seems like a third light. What the
Well,
hell?
and Mike was telling me the other day that in America, even though you fought in Australia and they took 40%, you have to pay taxes in America on your whole purse still.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, they got to send it to the Ukraine.
by the time you pay 40% plus another 28%, plus then paying your coaches.
You literally paid to go fight and
Yeah.
get beat up.
Yeah,
You paid to stop
it was
by.
the most expensive fight ever.
But hey, you got to go someplace where
Right.
everything that bites you is going to kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike loves Singapore.
Singapore was a little out there. It was cool to see. It was nice, but it was
Clean.
super clean. It was nice because you actually felt safe because they don't play around.
Right.
You know what I mean? They lash you. They do whatever.
They don't negotiate with terrorists.
No, they don't do none of that. None of that. When we were there, we were watching like the local station or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and they shut the city down, the whole state, which is not very big, country, which is not very big, because somebody graffitied the wall. It was a manhunt.
For the guy that spray painted on
Yeah, it was a manhunt.
like I couldn't DoorDash food to me because
They shut everything down there, but stay inside.
Wow.
oh, I bet people turn people in there. If you shut down everything and no one can do anything, you're gonna be like,
Well, I was asking
you
them-
did it. You get your ass outside.
Well, I was asking them because we went and we were talking about the whole COVID thing,
Mhm.
about how it got shut down. I said, "What'd they do to you guys?" They said, "Oh, they delivered food to us." I said, "You weren't allowed to leave." They're like, "No, they would call your house, or they would do random checks, and if you were not there, you were gonna go I don't know where."
And I guarantee they have a really good camera system in that city. So if you even left your house, they knew it, and no one
Right.
else was out there.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of food though? Because
So it's some of the best food.
delivered, like I'll go back to COVID in Singapore.
That I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know.
If they just bring meals to my door and I don't have to leave the house,
you probably weren't getting nothing good.
dude, I was built for COVID.
I wasn't.
I was 100% built for COVID protocols.
I'm 100% the opposite.
You know,
I didn't fall for that shit.
Oh no! I'm just saying the lockdown was like a vacation for me. I was like, thank the Lord.
I use it as I mean, I went out and got a trailer out in Georgia, and I looked down. I'm doing 117 miles an hour on the highway.
and no one was around.
Yeah, there's no cops. There's nobody around. I'm like, hell yeah.
Well, and they weren't
Made it there in record
they weren't
time.
pulling people over anyway because they couldn't have direct contact.
Well, if they did, you just start coughing when they come to your window. They're, "Oh, you're good, you're good, you're good."
you know,
That was one thing I did like about COVID. Like you would go somewhere and it was quick, bam, bam, bam. No, now it's just like
I got COVID like right when it hit.
You got the flu.
Whatever. I got that strain of whatever sickness was out at the time. And I mean, of course, then you're like, I don't want to infect my kids, my young kids. You know, you're kind of keeping track of what's going on. It was bad, but it wasn't like horrible.
I had
I had a headache is really what I had.
Right.
I didn't have nothing. I was the person that had no symptoms.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is the symptom.
No symptoms is a symptom.
Hey, shit, it was like, yeah.
And people fell
And
for it.
they're saying that there's another, like there's a variant of COVID right now, right? Like, aren't we supposed to be?
I quit listening.
I've licked so many doorknobs that I am totally fine. I am immune to everything.
Babe, wash the doorknobs.
Oh no, I did it for you.
Just in case.
just today. I mean, my immune system sucks.
Because you don't leave the
Because
house.
Yeah, it's because you don't leave.
No,
the
truly,
house.
because I don't go out. I'm not in public a lot, and I don't interact with a lot of people. So my immune system's shit. But I still like.
At least go in your backyard, eat some dirt.
But I still don't like. If I go out, I'm not gonna mask up. I'm not gonna do a bunch of shit.
No.
I just don't like. I don't buy into it in that way. You know, if I had like my mom who is elderly now, I would probably take precautions the same way I would if I had the flu. I wouldn't go to my mom's house and just germ up her place.
Right.
But my immune system is so bad that as soon as my daughter's home for spring break this week.
Mhm.
Next week she goes back to school. So next week I'll be taking emergency like
So you don't get sick?
every morning
It's all a little snot nose.
because they all come back with different germs, and then she comes in the house, and then I immediately will get sick.
Right.
COVID, I got me a part-time job at Lowe's, man.
I got me a part-time job at not leaving the house.
Oh, I was.
I was loving it.
I will say the one really good thing about COVID is that it opened the business sector's eyes to not needing a million friggin' office space and requiring people to commute an hour in shitty traffic to go work for 8 hours, to commute home another hour in shitty traffic. When you can do everything you do right here.
You can, but it also killed all the mom and pop shops because they let Walmart and Home Depot,
Well,
and all the big wigs stay open.
I
But oh no, unless you're $1 billion corporation, you got to close down because you're going to
Right.
get everybody sick.
Yeah.
And no, I don't agree. I mean, I'm a fair trade guy. You know, if you're a capitalist and you're, an entrepreneur, go be an entrepreneur.
Mhm.
You know, I don't give a shit. If the government tells you no, tell them to go eat a dick.
A bag of it.
As far as like big, because I am also a consultant for an oil and gas company.
Okay.
Okay, I work on the accounting side of consulting for them. We had an office downtown that everyone had to go to for 10 years that I worked there.
Mhm.
And then we got COVID and nobody had to go there. And guess what? Our productivity was exactly the same, if not slightly more efficient. So when they lifted protocols, we all just said, yeah, we're not going back.
We're not going to use oil and gas to go drive downtown.
Well, it was just, we're not going to waste our time. And
Right.
it also changed up schedules
Right.
because like the work I do is not forward facing. Okay. So I'm not like
I've heard that about you.
rear facing. I'm much better from the, like I'm not dealing with clients. I'm not dealing with customers. So my work schedule changed to get the job done.
Right.
You know, I'll not be able to sleep at 2 a.m. Instead of keeping my wife awake, I'll just come down here and knock out an entire day's work in 3 or 4 hours. And they like the bigwigs at my company they're just like, work's always done. I don't know.
Right.
We're good.
Right.
And I think that's more where the world needs to start looking to be. You know, we talked about it many times. School, like high school education, pretty important. It teaches you to be disciplined. It teaches you. I mean, it's if you take away the liberal bias that is in education right now, but just teaching people that, you know, to show up, do something, follow through with their word, handle their business, you know, complete the task. That's great.
I agree with that. But the indoctrination that they're pushing on everyone.
And then that's where like we need more freedom of choice for parents to make decisions and do things. But Mike and I have talked multiple times about higher education really being something that is almost antiquated and useless outside of a few occupations. My attorney, I want him to go to school.
Right.
My surgeon, I also want him to go to school.
But do you need them to go to 27 English classes?
Right.
That they had to pay for.
We don't need and they used to say that that's how they created well-rounded students to do this. And you know what? By that time,
yeah, if by the time you graduate high school and you don't know freaking English,
but just be able to,
you don't have any business being a doctor or a lawyer.
And it's about work ethic. If you're going to school to be a doctor, you've made a very hardline choice into an occupation that obviously is going to require a large amount of like determination and discipline and
Then
understanding.
Make it like a trade school.
People's lives are in your hands. But like as far as like liberal arts degrees, or I mean, even honest to God, to be a teacher, I don't feel like we need to make people have to go spend that much time.
Well, the money they spend on the education and then what they get paid
Is ridiculous.
is
Why do you think
horrible.
nobody really wants to be a teacher?
Yeah.
Well-
especially trying to lure in good quality teachers that are going to deliver the information. You know, in my opinion, teachers should be like journalists.
And they're constantly walking on eggshells.
Teachers should be like journalists.
it's always
used to
their
be.
fault, not the parents.
Yeah.
You got it's not bad. It's not so much
Your
bad
kid-
teachers in
My
there.
kid's not bad. You just don't know what you're doing.
No, it's just idiotic parents that don't have anything to do with their kids' upbringing anymore.
Yeah.
And then they blame it on the teachers, and they don't have time to be parent to 30 kids in the classroom that all have attitude problems and ADHD problems, and they're they don't get paid well enough.
I've raised all of my kids in what we call the real world, where sometimes you lose, life sucks, it's not fair. Just because you thought you should get that and you didn't doesn't mean that it's anybody's fault. Guess what? Sometimes it just doesn't happen. It just doesn't work out that way. And if my kids get in trouble in school, now I'm going to have an adult conversation with my kids and kind of get down to the root of what happened. But if they're in the wrong, I'll go to their school for that meeting and have them take responsibility, talk about how we're going to alleviate the situation from ever happening again, and then we're going to move forward. But at the same time, my kids are pretty honest with me. And I've raised them in a way that they can tell me anything.
Yep.
Like instead of I'm going to be in so much trouble, it's I need to call my dad.
Yep.
So when I ask them and talk to them about things, are they going to give me 100% truth all the time? No, I'm not an idiot.
Right.
But like I can get to the root of what's going on. And if something just happened and the school's not looking at it from an open view, they're just like, oh, it's this because this is what someone said. And I'll straight tell them, and I'm like, excuse me, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
I have a perfect story for that. My younger son, Trey, he and I was even formerly the wrestling coach at Chaparral. And he got taken into the office because a girl attacked him that has a well-known past of slapping people and hitting them and stuff like that.
Oh.
And he had slapped one of my son's friends the day before. Well, they happened to be walking behind her, and he was talking to another one of his buddies and said, oh, yeah, that's the girl that slapped such and such yesterday. She turns around and just starts swinging. Well, he ducked under it. He took her down and literally sat on her hands so she couldn't hit him.
Right.
Well, sat there, and finally they broke it up. Well, they take him in, and they're planning on suspending him for fighting. And it was funny when it was a newer dean that was walking him up to the office, and he's like, okay, well, we got to call your parents. And he goes,
Good luck.
my mom's out of town. You got to talk to my dad.
Yeah.
And he didn't know me. And when they called me, I'm like, cool, I'll be down there in 10 minutes.
Let's go ahead and square this up.
Oh my gosh. So the SRO officer, weirdly enough, we have armed guards in all of our schools in Douglas County. We've never had a shooting. Weird, huh? But so we get there, and the SRO was a pretty cool guy. He was reviewing the tapes, and he literally was telling them, he goes, yeah, he defended himself. He did nothing wrong. He did not strike her. He did not hurt her. He did not anything whatsoever. And I called her a crazy bitch. And the principals and all that. Oh, I don't think we should go there. The SRO was like, that's actually a pretty good explanation of her because
it's actually pretty accurate.
And so basically, I said, so you guys have two options, or actually, you have one option. He goes, if you give my son any amount of expulsion, you will be hearing from my lawyer, and you're going to be on the news for being just retarded and stupid for this 0% tolerance policy. When all he did was defend himself. Because guess what? If somebody attacks me on the street, I can defend myself just fine.
I can neutralize the situation.
And he did that extremely well, did not hurt her, did not strike her, did not do anything besides take her down, sit on her hands.
Yeah.
And if you're going to punish him for doing that, that's absolutely ridiculous.
Right. You should be rewarding him for not
100%
going overboard
100%
and maintaining a situation that, I mean, you're not going to hit me.
Nope.
No.
Like, I don't care. You're not going to hit me.
Right.
Even worse than that, you're not going to hit one of my wife or one of my kids.
Right.
And if you attacked one of my kids, and I don't care if my kid snapped and just beat the shit out of your kid, guess what?
He's probably not going to do that again.
I mean, some people only learn lessons the hard way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So we left the room for a second. They said, well, let us talk about this. We came back and they said, well, we agree with you. We're not going to give him any expulsion, but we do, because this happened earlier in the day. They said, but we would like to give him an excused absence for the day because this is going to be the hot topic that everybody's talking about. So we just want to
have him go home the rest of the day.
I said, cool. We're going to Dairy Queen and you get sprinkles because winners get sprinkles. And they're just like, oh shit. So when we walked out, I was pretty good friends with the ladies at the front desk and everything. They're all giving me the thumbs up and everything because they could totally hear us.
Oh yeah.
And the principal and the AD and all that were in there, and they're just like, yeah, that was dumb. Why did we even try to
and that's
punish
the thing.
him?
Like I often say, a person is smart, people are dumb. But I'm starting to lose faith in a person is smart method as well, because sometimes you have to sit and explain to them, like, hey, listen, let's mute the sound. Let's pretend we don't know anybody. Now just watch the tape and tell me what you see.
Right.
Can you discern from just the visual as to what's going on? And sometimes they're so jaded and so biased that they can't. And that's where a person stops being smart.
Yep.
And they become the same as the dumb crowd. You know, it's easy to, you know, we all have friends on social media that will say some just like ridiculous shit. And then you watch the comment section churn because it becomes that mob mentality that's going on. But then if you sit with that person, it's just you two, you're just having a conversation and you ask them about it and they're nowhere near the same energy that they were on a social media post that spun people up. And you're like, hey, can you give me like your reasoning behind feeling that way? And if you have a continued conversation, all of a sudden you find out that they don't really believe that.
No.
Like they believe that much of it, but it's only impressive to people if you live out here.
That's actually the perfect segue into what we're about to talk about.
I'm just saying, almost like I set it up that way.
Smart people think alike.
Look at me. Almost
you won today. You're a winner today.
I just almost drove that Ford right in the driveway.
Gonna get you a prize.
With that being said, this is the episode that we've been waiting to do for a long time.
For sure. And
obviously, it's not going to be an argumentative episode. That if people were looking for that, they're not going to get it.
Wrong episode.
It's more of an educational, because Mike and I are very open-minded, and we want to hear the point of view from anybody. Now, all of us, for our entire lives, have been taught that the world is round. And that we are spinning on an axis and also orbiting the sun. And then we have moons that orbit us, or a moon that orbits us. Other planets have multiple, right? That's We can agree that that's been the educational guise of everything we've ever kind of learned.
Yep. Because your kindergarten teacher with nice boobs told you that about the little blow up globe ball. So you believe it. I understand.
I don't even know what boobs are.
Okay. The open mindedness, your brain fell.
But why do we believe that?
Because everybody else does.
Why do we believe it? I mean, it's what I've been taught.
That's what we've been told.
Have you ever gone out into the real world and done any sort of an experiment whatsoever to validate that belief?
Well, I would like to say I could figure out how to make an experiment to validate it.
I would love to see that.
I just don't. I'll be honest with you. I don't really know what. I mean, I could figure out. I'm sure I could figure out the science and what they want me to do to prove this or that. B.
Can you think?
I'm pretty fucking
No,
lazy,
I'm not.
so I'm not.
Here's the
going
thing:
to.
is I'm open to so much. I'm not the biggest science guy.
You're not Bill Nye?
No, I'm not the biggest. No. I just.
well,
Mike and I are here. I'll give you the lay of the land.
Uh-huh.
Mike is. If you're here, and I'm probably about here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mike is probably here.
Okay.
I'm just open to.
No, you just don't like you. And not in a bad way, but Mike doesn't believe things that I believe, or
Like
I can
for
find
instance,
the logic in.
I don't believe in dinosaurs. I don't think that they're real. See?
You don't believe in dinosaurs either?
No.
I don't believe that they're real.
They were never discovered until after the Darwinian freaking bullshit book was.
What are we finding?
Rocks.
Yeah.
Tree. I don't know what's up.
What are we finding?
Well, you're sure as hell not finding. So any of the dinosaur bones you see in the museums, those are fiberglass. They're literally made in China.
Okay.
They are not. I mean, dinosaurs were supposedly not even invented / found until 1864. So we had never done any sort of excavation in anything.
Yeah, but you also realize that they're dying of dysentery in 1864. Not a whole lot of sciencing going on.
Well, that's supposedly when they found
Right.
the first
Sure.
and started calling them dinosaurs and stuff like that. No, I mean there's still the belief that dinosaurs is what gas comes from.
No, everybody knows that's not true.
You'd be amazed.
Maybe if you work in oil and gas, you know.
you'd be amazed. I mean, seriously, people think that there's dinosaur pits where they all just conglom together when they all died and they made these huge oil pits and all that. And I mean, that's the belief.
I'm going to go with the hard no on that.
Okay, good. Well, you're more well aware than the majority of the.
Can we talk about Dinosaur Ridge? It's right over here.
Right.
Like we can go there.
Right. Now, you cannot find they've never found a full skeleton.
Okay.
And any bone that you actually can touch or see or anything like that is a fabricated bone. First of all, tell me this. Tell me how two stegosauruses could have mated.
Well, if I knew what a stegosaurus was.
It's the one with all the plates on their back.
So you're saying Doggy was out
Yeah.
because of the plates.
Well,
And how did they know that they had the plates? That's the thing. Is like they don't know that.
Do you know that you have an ass?
Well, I do, but this was billions of years ago. This was billions of years ago.
Yeah.
Billions of years ago, would you have known you have an ass?
No, I wasn't alive then.
But if you were, would you have known you had an ass?
I don't know. You don't know.
No, I like going into Walmart and taking two of the dinosaurs and trying to figure out how they could have done it. And
You're going to get arrested for that.
I'd take him in the back room where there's no cameras.
Now, I mean, I can figure out why a T-Rex can't have a good Tuesday morning. But
I mean, it's
maybe Stegosauruses did missionary.
Oh,
with the plates on their back.
Maybe in the water they floated, turned her around gently.
They had the yoga swing.
He just guided. I could be creative with sex.
Okay, well.
So no dinosaurs.
No.
None. Zero dinosaurs.
It was made up to go along with the Darwinian theory of evolution, which has millions of missing links.
So there's also no evolution.
Nope. There's survival of the fittest.
We are as we have always been.
No, we can
Evolve.
We can evolve, but it's not evolution. A bird is not going to become a lizard, or a lizard's not going to become a bird. And
Have you
so
seen
on
a
and so.
chicken's legs?
They just miss leg day.
Scaly.
Well, you can. Okay, so think of it this way. Now, I do believe in a creator.
Okay.
I don't care what you call him. I mean, you can call him Odin, you can call him Allah, you can call him God, whatever you want to call him.
A higher being of some.
There is a creator of some sort, and many religions actually coincide with each other.
Wait, is he Blue Jesus?
No, it's probably more that.
He's not Blue Jesus?
I don't know. I've never seen him or her, whatever it is. I mean, a lot of people just call
I
him,
make people crazy with that tattoo.
call him Source.
Because I don't do racism. I just don't do it. I don't buy into the theory on either side. I get it. Believe what you want to believe.
It's a waste of time.
So if you go into a white person's house and there's a picture of Jesus on the wall, what color is Jesus?
A lot of times it is a paler skin, which doesn't make any sense because if you're in
If you're tracking.
if you're in the Middle East, he's probably going to be pretty dark skinned.
Now, if you go into.
And that's why I do wonder in the Bible why there's John and Paul and Mary, you know, instead of Ahmad.
But if you go into an African American house and there's a picture of Jesus on the wall.
Sometimes there is a white guy, or I'm sorry, a black guy.
Yeah, very, very, very easy white.
The funny thing is, though, is there is a large movement of Asian people that are Christians, and I've never seen an Asian-looking Jesus.
We could find it.
You probably could.
I will find it.
You probably could.
So I got this tattoo, and I had him color Jesus blue because I was like, you know what? Screw all you. Nobody gets to take credit. He's
Right?
blue, motherfuckers.
Right. That's aqua Jesus.
Well, there's no color involved.
I guess he
He's
didn't.
blue.
Guess he didn't walk on water.
Yeah.
He was water.
Right.
What do they say? Be water?
Right. That's Bruce Lee. Close.
Maybe Bruce Lee was Asian.
Asian Jesus. There we go.
Boom! I got us
Hey,
there.
you're on it today,
I
boy.
got it. I didn't even take my meds
Oh,
today.
again.
So I'm inspired.
I was
today.
I was warned that we might do the smelling stall. So.
Oh, where are they?
Oh,
Bring
oh,
them in.
yeah.
Oh
in here.
shit! I just screwed that one.
Okay, Mother, bring it.
Okay, but keep going till she brings it.
These have made me cry recently. All right, so no dinosaurs.
No.
Zero.
No.
Alligators?
Yeah, we can physically see them. I mean, you went to Florida, you know.
You want to hit?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Okay.
Here's the next thing. Okay, we've got a lot to cover, so I'm not going to sit on anything.
Somebody go.
Oh, I'll go first. This
God. All right, give it a shot.
You got to hit it.
Get a good one.
Woo!
Holy crap!
If you're not crying, you're lying. Those are good, huh?
Okay, I'm awake.
I'm a glutton
ready.
for punishment,
Hey,
too.
I'm ready for
I will-
listening.
I'll hit that in the middle of the day just because I need to punish myself.
Gee, my eyes
You're
water.
definitely awake right now.
Yeah, those are good ones. Those are really good. We had these.
And those died.
These are like these are what you would give your middle schooler.
Yeah,
We're gonna start with the lower level. And
Yeah.
I've had a runny nose ever since last week. All right. Okay, we got a lot to cover. Keep going. All right.
So no dinosaurs. We're
No,
not gonna
we're not.
I mean,
There's a lot of debate.
there's a whole nother we gotta have them just to get where we're trying to go.
Mhm.
We're gonna have to have an episode 2 come where we can just talk about
Dinosaurs?
this part of it.
Okay, all right.
fine with that.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna fight you guys by myself on this one.
Pretty sure we could find one out back then. There's one buried out there somewhere.
Okay.
Those are dog bones.
I
Those are real.
Mike and I have a disagreement on a megalodon. I say 100% has existed, probably to some extent.
Oh, you're talking about the shark.
Yes.
Okay.
also could still exist because, I mean, there's so many depths and portions of the ocean that have not been fully explored, and a megalodon would be like one of the few things that could survive at that depth with that type of pressure.
Extinct, they said, the John or somebody.
John?
In 3.6 million years ago, it went extinct.
John who?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
316?
I don't know. But somebody said in 3.6 million years ago, it went extinct.
Although you've probably seen some of those deep sea oil rig cameras that have enormous
Bites.
Yeah, well, bites and
fish that swim by that you can't, because it's so dark at that depth.
Right.
Like it's the darkest dark in the world. And these cameras are, I mean, they're really very expensive, really nice cameras, but I mean, it's the lowest light you can get.
Yeah.
And things will swim by these cameras that take way too long to just be a sperm whale.
Well, they're attracted to the
hum of the electricity.
To the electricity and all that. Because that's how their radar works.
And there's also, I mean, there's documented things that have been bit down deep.
Oh yeah.
Whether it's
like a great white missing a huge
you
chunk
take
out of it.
you take a 20-foot great white that's basically been bit in half. What size jaw does it take to bite a great white in half?
I don't know.
But not a megalodon. I try to show megalodon teeth that, I mean, people find them all the time.
I'm not arguing against that.
See, I got one.
I don't believe it. Still.
We're going with megalodons for the win.
Okay.
I'm going to buy Mark a
sure.
megalodon tooth and
They might have one at They might have one at Chatfield. We're gonna go look.
That's freshwater.
You got plenty of crawdads.
That's freshwater.
Okay. I'm sure they live then too. I don't know.
Salt water. You need salt water.
Okay.
I don't know. There are certain sharks that live in freshwater.
So not so much live, but can survive.
Correct.
Because they've had sharks that have swim up the deltas into
they done
freshwater.
Swimmed up that far.
Swam. I'm just anyway. They've swam up the delta into freshwater and have been swimming around. We used to stay at a house. Well, we still on occasion do. My wife's brother, his family. Their house is right on Sarasota Bay.
Okay.
They have a guest house that's like a quarter of a mile up the canal.
Okay.
So you can go straight from that house in the canal up to their house before you go out onto the ocean.
Nice.
And there have been like nurse sharks that have made it all the way back to their house, which starts to get pretty fresh water.
Right.
You know, it's not, I mean, we get the manatees, but they don't care.
Yeah, they're typically freshwater.
They're fine either way.
Right.
But you'll get like 4 or 5 foot nurse sharks.
Oh, yeah.
Nurse sharks.
See.
They'll just cruise around.
Yeah,
Crossovers.
One of my favorite places to go is Wekiwachi.
Uh-huh.
And you got all the brackish water that comes up, and then the rest of it's spring fed, and so it's pretty dark. And then literally 5 minutes away on a kayak, it's just crystal clear. And the manatee swimming all underneath you.
There's spots where it's like
awesome.
Cool.
it's like a line like this.
Yeah.
Where the brackish water hits the fresh water.
That's pretty cool. That's always cool.
It doesn't mix, and you're like,
how?
you just like cross back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen all kinds of cool stuff like that.
I mean, there's a spot in the ocean where Atlantic and Pacific
you can see the
meet,
line.
and it's crazy.
The salinity of the water is not the same on either side, so it won't like bind. It won't find its way.
That's crazy.
Probably because the dinosaurs. Just saying.
Probably.
They might be buried over there, I guess.
We're going to Dinosaur Ridge.
We're
going to go we're going on a field trip together, the three of us, to Dinosaur Ridge.
What are we going to see?
Just wait and find out. Okay?
All right.
Do we have cavemen?
There's been lower levels of humans, yes.
Okay. Like Neanderthal? Or just idiots?
Well,
well, we have those now.
Yeah, you haven't bred that out. They're the ones firebombing Teslas and shit.
Stay away. Stay away.
You did give me the red microphone.
Yes, I did. So Neanderthals, cavemen.
Yes, but a lot of the links, like the famous Lucy, that was proven to be a fake. The majority of the so-called links of different cave people and men and stuff like that are proven to be fakes, because they're trying so hard to make the evolution seem correct. I mean, literally, to believe in that, you have to believe that everything came from nothing with the Big Bang Theory. There was nothing, and then all of a sudden everything exploded, and it created the sun, the earth, the moon, the stars, all the galaxies and everything that you guys believe in. That, I mean, they literally say that how our moon became into our orbit is because it hit the earth and then bounced off and then got stuck in our orbit and does all this crazy shit.
I've not heard that one, but I'll go with it.
Yeah, no, that's
how we killed the dinosaurs.
Right.
Tidal wave from
Now,
the moon
well,
hitting the earth.
Sure.
I mean, that's what they're going to try and say. I'm not saying. Basically, what I will say is every single thing that we have ever been taught about history is wrong. Everything.
You mean ancient history?
Even
I mean, some of us
even as early as late as or as early as World War II. I'm not going to get into it to put myself in any sort of group with people.
You're already on enough watch lists. Let's not add to it.
But I mean, there happens to be an MMA guy that is being ridiculed like crazy for.
Don't do it.
No, I'm not. But because too many people are too butthurt to discuss facts,
right,
and common sense.
Well, the problem is
The problem is most people are open minded.
Well, no. Here you go. As open minded as people want to be about anything, Bryce Mitchell might be one of the dumbest humans who ever lived. He's just not an intelligent guy. Have you heard him? Listen. I'll listen to outlandish shit, and I will give like all the room that's necessary to listen and exchange ideas. Mm-hmm. I'm surprised he can tie his shoes. His parents probably almost named him Corky.
No, I'm not. I haven't met the guy in person. I'm not going to defend him. I mean,
I can tell you, I would not go into episode 1 of my podcast with that as my leader.
No, I that's why I'm using my discretion and staying away from.
Now, you wouldn't, right? You wouldn't go into episode 1 of your podcast that people are going to watch because you have a platform that's this,
right?
And that's your lead-in topic.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that was the smartest thing he's ever done.
He probably needs someone to buffer him just a little bit.
Yeah,
that's the same guy that drilled his nuts, isn't it?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, he had a dare where he had to put a drill bit through his scrotum.
I don't know.
No, that was Tim Walls.
No. He did
the same thing, but his wasn't.
Or wait, no,
I think his was an accident.
His was an accident.
But then he had to back the drill out.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Hey, accidents happen. Man.
Can we talk now? Should we talk about the level of intelligence we're dealing with this?
So,
how many times you got to almost drill through your balls? 0 times in your life. Why? Because you value your balls.
I've shot myself with nail guns and knees and stuff, but
great. That's a knee.
Not ever my nuts.
I've shot myself through the hand with a nail gun, framing up a wall. It skipped through and.
Yep.
And then the guy I was working with pulled it out with a pair of dikes, side cutters.
Yep.
And then we just taped it up. And
back to work. Right? No sick time. Keep going.
Yep. But you got shit to do. That's what electrical tape's for, man.
Yeah. I grew up in a time where we didn't. I mean, we were dirt poor. We didn't have. There was no going to the doctor because there was definitely no health insurance.
Right.
It was. I hope you don't die.
Stop bleeding. You're fine.
Super glue is your friend.
Actually, yeah, I keep it in my truck.
Yeah. Oh,
I've got gallons of that shit in my head.
I mean, we've all super glue, especially if you're in combat sports. If you don't just super glue shit together and let it. Yeah. You see my face?
Oh yeah.
All right. We got to get to the meat.
But yeah, we might as well get there.
We got to get to the meat. So we were raised that the earth is round, spins, goes around the sun, moon goes here, planets go there.
Mhm.
Until the day. Today we're arriving at a new junction.
Actually, it's not a new junction. It has been the belief
For me.
From every ancient civilization has known the earth is flat. The Egyptians,
Okay.
the Sumerians.
Okay.
I mean, it's in the Bible. If you want to go there, I don't use the Bible so much. Besides,
We've got that guest coming up.
Okay, that's fine.
We've got the Bible version of.
Okay. I mean, I know of what it says a lot of times in the Bible, but that's not what brought me to it. What brought me to
The Bible also has John and Mary.
Correct.
Just saying.
So, what brought me? So, I went to school for aviation.
Mm-hmm.
So, I have a pretty good grasp on physics and I mean how shit really works. When I learned about the flat Earth belief, I set out to debunk it. I said, "Man, this has got to be easy." So I went out and I bought I spent thousands of dollars, bought a telescope, a high-powered laser, and then a Nikon P900 camera, which at the time was the highest zoom lens, which was 83 times. Now there's a P1000, which is 125 times. I don't have the P1000 yet.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, well, the very first test I ever did was, so in the globe theory, the moon is reflected sunlight. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what's funny is most globe believers believe that the reason there are moon phases is because that's the shadow of the Earth, because it's round. Do you believe that?
I'm okay with that.
Do you believe that?
Wait, that it's round?
The moon phases. So
Like
sometimes we have a crescent moon.
Crescent moon, half moon.
You believe that's the Earth's shadow?
I mean,
I just learned what an eclipse was not too long ago. So
I'm okay.
I'm open.
I'm like, I will not.
All right, I'm gonna be okay
fight
with it.
that.
I'm gonna be okay.
Okay.
With it.
Well, the point being is you are incorrect even on your own theory.
Okay.
Most people, most globe believers don't even know their own theory correctly. So flat earthers are some of the most well-versed people in the globe theory.
Why are they also weirdos?
I like it. Dumb people think smart people are crazy. So if
crazy people also think everybody else is stupid.
a lot of times they are.
But I'm just saying, like, there's both sides of that coin.
There is that coin.
We've all met the crazy person that thinks they're smart.
Right. So there's a difference between somebody that is just ignorant.
Right.
Somebody that has shown the proof over and over and over and still chooses to willfully be blind to the truth. That's a stupid motherfucker.
Right.
The people that actually have the open mind to accept new information and create a new option or belief, those are the people that are.
I mean, everybody has to be receptive to information.
That's a perfect statement, but most people aren't.
Now,
they will fight tooth and nail against something they don't even know anything about.
And being receptive to information doesn't mean that you are just going to believe one side or the other completely either way. Like, we can have this conversation, and I guarantee that you are going to say some things that I'm like, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just being completely transparent. You're also going to say some things where I go, Rocky Johnson probably needs to have a fucking straitjacket. I'm just being honest to God. But I mean, I'm not going to shut down a conversation because I'm not in the same space as you.
Yeah.
You know, I want to hear everything in the world. Like, I want to hear it.
I'm open. Here's my thing with some of these issues is that the people that I've talked to are uneducated about it.
Right.
They're just agreeing, just like the rest of the other half that says, "Oh, the Earth is round." You know what I mean? Yeah, because that's what I've been taught.
That's the big problem.
You know what I mean?
90% of the people that want to talk about flat Earth theory or are a flat earther, whatever that is, also are uneducated in their theory and smell like patchouli oil and fucking like live in their van down by the water.
There are some
You have to admit, some people you're like, please don't. You're not helping the cause.
right, and yeah, I would like to not ever be looked upon like that.
Right. That's why we invited you on, because I knew you would have research and
recently moved away from living in my van by the river.
well,
Graduated. Now I'm in the Walmart parking lot.
I'll tell you, I wouldn't have Eddie Bravo on to talk about it.
I don't know. That'd be good. That'd be a good guy.
I don't.
So some people, I mean, I do watch some guys try to explain the flat Earth theory, and I feel they don't do a great job about it.
You're so nice.
So wait, okay. So how old were you when you decided to
Start researching it?
Yeah, start looking this up.
So this happened back in about 2016, 2017.
Okay.
And that seemed to be a common period for a lot of people to start taking a look at it. And I mean, I did. I set out to do some tests. The first test I ever did was I started to explain that people believe that. So, by the way, the moon phases are supposedly not the Earth's shadow. It is just the way a spherical moon would work from the sunlight hitting it and creating a crescent or full moon and stuff like that.
The angle.
Correct. An eclipse, a lunar eclipse, is what would cause the Earth, supposedly the Earth's shadow shining on, blocking out the moon. So, so the globe theory is that the moon is reflected sunlight. So first of all, when you look at, because everybody wants to use, we know the Earth is round because we've seen photos from NASA. Okay. Well, NASA's already admitted that every single picture they've ever put together is a CGI composite. There's not a single photograph of the Earth. It is a painting back in the day. Now it's a CGI or composite or something. No photos. No photos. They've admitted this.
Elon has never taken a photo.
Who's that?
Elon.
Who?
And SpaceX.
So we'll get on satellites in a second. So when you look at all the NASA photos, when you look up when you look at a full moon, it's pretty stinking bright, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever seen a moon landing picture with an astronaut sitting on a light bulb that bright?
I can't say I have because I've only seen a few photos.
Oh, there's gazillions of them.
Of the one time?
Have you ever seen?
I don't believe. I don't believe in the moon landing.
He doesn't believe in it.
I don't believe we've been to space either.
Yeah, this is kind of proof of no moon landings.
Okay.
I mean, first of all, there's so many reasons that we couldn't land on the moon. But I'm going to stick to the first of all the NASA photos. Mm-hmm. There is no bright lit moon of an astronaut standing on it. And have you ever seen a rock of anything whatsoever be able to be that brightly lit of reflective sunlight? Or is it just a gray chunk of dirt?
Well, I mean, the moon could be made some magical shit.
Jeez.
Very reflective.
I mean, they've supposedly...
Like my running shoes.
Right.
Not reflective when we're just in normal daytime.
Well, every single picture that they supposedly say from NASA is on the lit side of the moon, which would be the side that we see. The other portion is the moon face has never deviated a single degree.
So we always see the same moon?
Exactly. I mean, unless you're on in the northern portion of the equator or the southern part of the equator, you will see the moon from opposite angles. So it'll either say it was a smiley face. It's either going to be a smiley face or a frowny face, depending on which side of the equator you're on. In the equator, there is an equator of...
So you could see both sides of the moon if you traveled?
No.
I'm seeing a smiley face from here.
It's just going to be an upside down of the same face. You're not going to see the backside or anything.
So there's only one face?
Correct. There's one face. So...
We need some balls.
Oh, whoa.
So
careful.
Say this is the moon.
Right.
Okay. And we're looking at it. So say this is the north equator.
This is my house.
North of the equator. This is what you're going to see. You're going to see.
Okay. Yeah.
with that. Well, yeah, that
I
would,
see the smile.
so that would be the top.
Okay.
Okay. If you're in the south and you look at it,
It's the opposite.
it's going to be the opposite.
Yeah. Okay,
And
I'm
so
with you.
that completely explains. And everybody's like, oh, well, you can only see that on a globe. No, because the moon does not travel down. It only stops at the. I'm just using the equator as the middle between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn,
Right.
and that's where our sun and moon travel around on the flat Earth. So there is, I mean, there's an explanation for basically everything, that all the questions of how they try to say that it's not, a certain thing's not going to work on the flat Earth.
Okay. Things I need to ask.
So let me finish my story real quick on my first experiment. Okay, so they're saying that it's reflected moonlight or reflected sunlight from the moon. Okay, which would mean that should be warm light. Okay, well, if you take, so what I did is I had a piece of plywood in
Look, we have a sun right here.
there you, it's LED, so it's not very hot. But so I had a piece of plywood sitting in the garage. So I went in there with my laser thermometer, and I tested both sides. Let's say it was 74 degrees on both sides, sitting in the garage. Took it outside, leaned it up against the tree. So one side was moonlit, and one side was just the shade. Gave it about 5 minutes. tested the
lit side.
The lit side. It was literally 4 degrees cooler. Tested the back side, and that was still 4 degrees, basically the same as it was in the garage. So moonlight is cool light. So it's definitely not reflected sunlight. Okay, so that was my very
So you're saying reflected sunlight would be reflected energy.
reflected heat.
Right.
Actually, it's infrared radiation, and that's how. That's another proof I'll bring up about satellites and stuff like that. But or no satellites, I should say.
There's no satellites?
Nope.
What
So-
have I been doing with my Starlink? I'm fucked.
I'll
We're getting there.
Okay, so
All right.
so we'll get there. Actually, I mean, if you want to go there, we'll go there real quick. Okay, so many people say that they see the. Do you have a ball that I could borrow real quick?
Yeah, there's a baseball right there.
Okay, that'd be perfect. I was gonna bring a globe and I forgot.
This is from the All-Star game,
Oh,
1998. All-Star game,
nice.
right here in Colorado.
All right. So say this is the Earth. Okay,
Not the flat Earth.
this is the globe Earth that you guys believe in.
Okay.
Or that is believed in. They say, let's say the ISS or many of the communication satellites.
International Space Station.
Exactly. Okay. They say that's 252 miles off the surface of the Earth. Okay. So if you used Florida, which is 400 miles on that, literally on this one here, you'd be like a millimeter off the surface of the Earth if you were 252 miles high.
Okay.
Okay. On a 16-inch globe, it's about a quarter inch.
Okay.
So that's called the thermosphere. They say that it supposedly ranges from sub-zero temperatures up to 4,000 degrees. Okay. Changing every 45 minutes from going around, supposedly orbiting around the Earth at 17,500 miles an hour, 10 times the speed of a 9mm bullet.
Uh-huh.
So, but neither here nor there. If you ever look at the video that they supposedly show from the ISS, it's literally showing, I mean, you can see like the entire Earth from a millimeter away.
So you're saying it's not far enough from the Earth that you
No.
can see.
You would not see curvature until you're thousands of miles away. And so
the space station should only be able to see Florida. If let's say it's right.
I'm sorry. I started using so the way I judge that is I used Florida, which is about 400 miles tall, and on a 16-inch globe Earth, it's about it's a little over a quarter inch. So if you just shorten it down to 252 miles, I mean you're talking minute off the surface.
Right.
Of the
No,
Earth.
what I'm saying is if this is Florida, and the International Space Station is right above Florida for that moment in time. From the space station, you should really only see
you'd see obviously
Florida and a little more.
but you're sure as hell not going to see curvature.
And I won't see the whole
No,
globe Earth.
no, yet almost every video they shows this amazing, huge curvature everywhere, which is impossible because no matter where you are on that ball, you are going to be in the center at the highest point. So everything, wherever your finger is that you are supposedly at, everything's going to curve downward from you. So no matter where you are, it's going to be equal distance all the way around you. Until you are thousands of miles away, it would look 100% flat.
Okay.
So them faking curvature all the time with either CGI or fisheye lenses, why would they need to do that and never admit it? They're trying to tell everybody that, oh no, this is live video. This is real. Okay. If it was real, why would you need to fake it?
I have a very, 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 very logical question. Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm going to say we'll say that flat earth theory could be any theory about anything in the world. Okay. My big problem is so many countries on earth would rather bomb their neighbor to hell and will never agree with the word they fucking say. But all of them will agree to not tell the people that the world is not round.
Correct.
Now, does this make sense?
So back in 1959, when Admiral Byrd, he did some naval missions to explore Antarctica, so this is the flat Earth map.
There you go.
We are surrounded. We are surrounded by the Antarctic.
Turn your arm so I can see.
We were surrounded by Antarctica.
Break your arm and turn it the other way. No, I meant just break it off and twist it around. Okay.
So the white ring around it is Antarctica.
Okay.
That's why they call it the Arctic Ring.
Okay.
So back in the late 50s, Admiral Byrd did some Operation Deep Freeze and Operation High Jump. He probably found the edge, the firmament. So people ask why can't you just go take a picture of the edge of the Earth? Well,
Right.
First of all, you're not allowed to. You're not allowed free exploration of Antarctica anymore. Back in 1959, they created the Antarctic Treaty. 12 of the superpowers at the time signed it. There's the majority of countries have signed it these days, and nobody has ever broken that treaty because they know that if you broke that treaty, you would absolutely explode all of the lies that they have told us about globe Earth. Because if they can pull that over on everybody and make everybody think that we are stuck on limited Earth, limited resources, limited everything, then they have full power on us. So they know if they can pull that shit over on us, they can pull anything over on us. But if it was discovered that they have lied to us about everything, they're going to lose control on everything. Everyone's going to look. Nobody's going to believe.
So you're
anything.
saying there's not a country out there that will just say, "Fuck everybody. Here's the truth."
No, I mean, if there was somebody that was going to try and
Assassinated?
yeah. I mean, do you think any of the countries that, let's say America, do you think they would be let a smaller country or something expose the truth and let everybody know that they're liars? No.
It seems almost impossible to keep that kind of secret.
There's really not that many space agencies out there.
Right, but the world doesn't get along about anything.
Right, but not every single country has a space agency that knows the truth about everything.
Sure.
The top dogs do. They've probably signed the Antarctic Treaty to keep the secret. And NASA gets paid $60 million a day. A day. Okay, that's a pretty good little slush fund.
Don't we all?
Oh, well, yeah.
It's on its way.
So,
Checks in the mail.
so billions and billions of dollars that they have raked in for decades.
Mm-hmm.
That is a lot of money that they have hidden. They also subsidize SpaceX, that also keeps the secret. And if you notice, how many times has Elon's rockets crashed into a firmament? I think we're up to at least 3 of them now. And he's admitted that we can't make it to space. We keep crashing into something.
They just made it to space.
Right. That's a whole nother.
So
Whole nother story.
he's like, we can't make it. We made it, but not really.
Yeah. That's So, I mean, you can watch video after video of rockets hitting the firmament. There's actually a Red Bull one. I don't know if you want to look it up on your phone, but there's if you look up Red Bull rocket hits firmament or hits dome, it literally shows a rocket, which is funny because it goes straight up, not this stupid arc that it always does off of Cape Canaveral and goes right into the Bermuda Triangle. That they say, oh yeah, that's how we gain speed to get up into space. Well, you would be going with the spin of the Earth if you're flying east. Why wouldn't you go against the spin of the Earth and gain an extra 1,000 miles an hour that fast? Doesn't make any sense. They headed into the Bermuda Triangle, and there's not a single rocket that's ever made it to space. Ever. Secondly, a rocket wouldn't work in space.
But what about the Red Bull guy that jumps from
128,000 feet, 21 miles high?
You can do that?
So
we can get there.
21 miles? Yeah. It's a weather balloon.
Okay.
We got NASA still sends up 67,000 weather balloons a year. They are the number one buyer of helium in the world. So say Felix Baumgartner, the Red Bull jump guy, he took off from Arizona. Took him basically 4 hours to rise up to 128,000 feet. Okay. The Earth is supposedly spinning 1,000 miles an hour. I mean, in Arizona, you'd probably be at about 800 miles an hour, according to the globe Earth. So 4 hours times 800, that's 3,200 miles that the Earth should have spun underneath him. But when he jumps, and the Earth is supposedly spinning from west to east, when he jumps and where he lands 50 miles east of his original takeoff point. So with the spin of the Earth, not the opposite way where you would have thought. Because I'm sorry, but they say, oh, well, the whole atmosphere moves with the Earth. Okay. When you're 128,000 feet and it's supposedly that thin where you're needing oxygen and stuff like that, you really think that's spinning the same? Just physics alone says that it's not going to be. I mean, if you take a bicycle wheel, it's going to spin much slower in the center than it is on the outer. How fast would you need to be spinning at 21 miles high? I mean, you'd be at least double. I mean, supposedly that air should be spinning at 2,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I mean, when he first opens the door, it's a normal camera inside the capsule, shows a completely flat plane. But as soon as he steps out, it's a fisheye lens and it's this fake curvature. There's like, oh, see, it's proof. Yeah, until he jumps and then he lands on the ground and he looks up and it's still a curved, standing on the ground, it's curved just as much.
From the lens.
From a fisheye lens. Every GoPro is a fisheye lens. And everybody thinks that that's proof. No, that's fraud. I mean, if you have to fake everything and not admit it.
The energy to fake that much all the time. I'm getting tired just faking myself out.
That's people's. I mean, NASA does it for $60 million a day.
Give me the I'm special ed version.
That's pretty easy.
Of how the whole thing works. Okay, Earth is flat, correct?
Correct.
Flat and circular,
motionless,
round.
Basically, think of a pizza.
Okay, we're on and I love pizza.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good thing.
So we could agree it's a circle in some way.
Correct.
Right.
Just as it says in the Bible, the circle of the earth.
So one slice round.
Correct. The whole round pizza, I mean, just like that.
Yeah.
And everyone was, well, what's below it? I don't know. Nobody knows. We've never been there. I mean, we're not going to pull your leg and say we know. I mean, there's a picture of the flat Earth model in the Bible that they've taken out. Mm-hmm. They call it the Sheol, which is, I mean, where probably lava and stuff like that is. But no, we've never been there. We can't get there. Do you know how the deepest hole we've ever dug in the Earth is? It's supposedly 3,900 miles to the center of the Earth.
Okay.
What is the deepest hole we've ever dug?
Not 3,900.
Not 3,900. Take a wild guess.
The deepest, 10 miles.
So 3,900 miles to the center.
3,953, they say.
Less than 10,000.
He's very close. 7.5 miles.
That's the deepest we've ever been.
That's the deepest we've ever been able to dig. It's called the Kola Super Deep. It's a borehole dug in Russia.
Is that the diamond mine? Or is that some mine, right?
I don't think it was a mine. I think it was actually just an experiment to see how deep they could dig, and literally they could not dig any deeper.
That had to be led by guys.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, realistically,
Probably.
I bet we could dig it this. No. You want to try? Yeah, let's try.
Well, they could
That's
not.
how that goes.
They literally could not dig any deeper because the tools would get so gummed up. They literally could not dig any deeper. 7.5 miles. So that is the deepest we've ever dug. That's not even through the supposed crust of the earth. Yet we know exactly, there's molten nickel iron that creates the magnetism of the earth in the center, and that's why we have this and this. Really? Molten metal loses its magnetism that fast. It's no longer magnetic.
Well, there's no more polarization to it.
There's no magnetism.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that kind of, and so literally the only thing that people believe of how the earth is made is from a cartoon you read in a textbook, probably from that same kindergarten teacher with the nice boobs. Well, at least maybe he wrote it down with some crayons or something for you. But the entire globe theory is pure theory. It is so there's in order to become scientific proof or fact, you have to have it has to be observable, it has to be measurable, and it has to be repeatable. There is not a single globe Earth proof, supposedly, that meets those criteria. Yet every flat Earth proof we have put out there meets every single one of those criteria, with laser tests, with long distance observation.
So what does the laser do? What is it?
Checking for curvature. A laser can only go straight.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay. I see
so I like I said, I had a telescope and a high powered laser, and I went out.
This is also how we spent 20 years in prison.
They never caught me. No, I didn't shine it at any airplane. So, so the longest place I could find of water was Chatfield Reservoir, and it was basically let's say 4 miles across. So I set my tripod with the laser and the telescope 8 inches above the water on a tripod. I mean, right above the water. Well, if you use the Earth curve calculation, if you take the what they say mathematically of a sphere, it would be 8 inches per mile squared. So for every mile you square it times 8 inches. So at 4 miles, so I believe it's 10 feet. I'll do the math for you real quick. So
carry the one.
So 4 times 4,
16
times 8, it's 128. So yeah, it's going to be 10 feet. So
128 inches.
Divided by 12. So 10 foot, 10.6 feet. So literally.
Don't you cheat that half a foot.
Oh, okay. I'll say it's only
I'm just kidding.
6 inches, 6 inches. So according to the globe Earth theory, from my standpoint, it should be curving downward, correct?
So your laser should hit 10 feet higher
on the opposite shore.
On the opposite shore at 4 miles.
Yeah.
In elevation, right?
Yep. But I could literally see the water breaking on the sand on the opposite shore. I mean, it's not, there was no 10 foot drop. So I have another one. So I helped a buddy finish up his house out in Kauai. And so I flew out there. I happened to have my P900 camera by that time. And when I got there, I helped him finish his stuff. And then one really, really nice clear morning, I ventured down to Kappa Beach, which is on Kauai. And I could literally, standing on the beach, I'm 5'7". So let's say I had it at 5 foot. So I zoom across 90 miles of ocean to Oahu, and I could literally see the white sandy beach. 90 miles with the Earth curve calculation, there should have been 5,100 feet of downward curvature that I shouldn't have been able to see the island period, because the highest point on that island is only 4,000 feet.
So you're saying it should have been a mile lower.
So it should have been going this way, right?
Correct. So
He's saying from where he was,
I should have been
Okay.
seeing
what he
blue
was
sky.
seeing
Okay.
should have been a mile. The beach that he was seeing should have been a mile below his viewable area.
Yep. And I mean, that's only at 90 miles. We have tests up to, well,
I'm going to see if I can see Cuba from Key West.
How far is that?
90 miles.
you probably could. I mean, we've done, so flat earth, everybody says, oh, you guys just watch YouTube videos and that's how you came up with your belief. No, most of these people, such as myself, have actually gone out and done these experiments. I mean, spent the money, spent the time, taken the ridicule. Do you think I woke up one morning and just said, you know what? Life is really fucking easy. I think I want to be, I think I want to be called a retard, stupid, and everything like that. I mean, I don't mind stirring the pot, but do you think that's that's what I just thought?
And that was the one you're going to hang your hat on? You're like,
Yeah.
of all the things that I can get clowned for,
Yeah.
I'm going to go with flat earth.
Yep. But the thing is,
Yeah.
I don't know a single flat earther that got jabbed. The thing is once you realize where you actually live and you see that you have been lied to about every freaking thing they've told us, especially the earth, you don't believe any shit anymore.
He's trying to get us assassinated.
You actually research everything. And so not a single flat earther, unless they were absolutely forced, took the jab, because we actually research it. And we know that we've been lied to and propaganda and stuff like that given to us on a daily basis.
Okay, I need, backtracking a little bit, I need the sped version. Use.
I tried speaking slowly.
No, use. Let's use some props.
Okay.
What kind of
We'll
props?
pretend that this book is round.
All right.
I
We're
mean,
really pretending.
circular.
Okay.
Look, give him the book.
Okay.
That's the earth.
All right.
Let's make it a little more realistic.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
So that is the earth.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. Now I need to know how things work.
Okay. So there's a
Because
firm.
you know what we say. If the earth is flat and there is
Well,
a size,
there's a.
cats would be knocking shit off the sides.
Oh, Jesus.
Right?
I've never heard that one
Yeah, I
before.
know. That's why I lobbed it up there for you.
That's a good point.
I couldn't softball that one anymore.
Okay, you think cats are going to cross minus 130 degree
No,
treacherous ice
no,
to
no,
push
no.
shit off of,
I'm
which
just
they
saying.
couldn't because there's a nice one, there's a firmament there.
Okay,
Just
this is what I need to understand.
Uh-huh.
So if that's the thing, if this is flat and that's it, there's an edge, right?
Okay, well, there's possibly an edge,
Okay.
but there's also a dome over it, which connects to the so you can't go off an edge.
I watched Biodome.
Okay,
I know where we're at.
well, you've seen the Truman Show. That's exactly like it too.
Okay.
Okay, so that's why I was saying Admiral Byrd probably found that in the late 50s, and that's why they said, "Holy shit, we need to make the Antarctic Treaty to keep people from accidentally finding that." And so everyone signed that, and he mysteriously died later after he came public on a.
What did he argue with the Clintons?
they actually they may have been born then, but they were still in diapers back then. This is in the late 50s when he passed away. Weirdly enough, but I forget the name of it. But it was a talk show, but it's some really odd name. I'll have to. I forget, name escapes me right now. But I mean, he actually lost several airplanes into. They just crashed in the middle of the sky for some reason. They literally probably hit the dome. But
What is the dome?
so it's a firmament. They speculate on what it's made out of. There's been several stories about guys that have been stationed down in Antarctica, and the scientists. So these are military guys, and the scientists show them, "Hey, I want to show you something, but you can't tell anybody about it." It's a blue chunk of.
I do that to my wife all the time.
Okay, but it's a blue chunk of ice, like sky blue. I mean. They describe it as the most bluish you've ever seen. It's awesome, but it's so cold that they can't take it anywhere besides where
It is what it is.
yeah, they're not going to be able to bring it to a mainland because it'll be melted by then. But it doesn't melt into water. It just evaporates. And it's somewhat pliable, but it's still like frozen ice. They just call it sky ice. And several different military guys have talked about this. The scientists that they befriended showed it to them and told them about it and stuff like that.
See, you can't keep a fucking secret.
No.
Yeah, nobody can. And that's why there has been enough whistleblowers out there to where we have the information, but they just call them, conspiracy nuts and all that. And so, of course, everybody's, yeah, you're just a conspiracy nut. No, you just happen to not fall for the bullshit. And I mean, I get called that all the time, and I'm fine with it. I mean,
That's why we invited you. Because you had thick enough skin that...
Got thick enough ears, dude.
We have the same ears.
I don't think yours are an inch thick, though.
Mine are pretty good.
This is my jujitsu ear. That's only half-inch thick. And this is my MMA face.
I mean, they tried to help. All right, back to this. So we don't know what the dome is. See, this is where this...
Do they
my
know
logical
how,
brain has a problem.
Do we know how high that dome is, or is there like?
There's a lot of speculation. So shortly after the Admiral Byrd, shortly after the Admiral Byrd explorations, both the U.S. and the Russia started an operation called Operation Fishbowl. They literally started shooting nukes at the firmament to see if they could break through it. I mean, I don't know what they're. I mean,
we should not shoot nukes anywhere.
But both,
please,
both,
as a general rule, bad.
It's probably a bad thing. But the U.S. and Russia were doing it.
They probably did it over like South Korea.
I think they were doing it more towards the south in Antarctica and stuff.
Oh,
but so there's probably data from that, but we haven't gotten the data that says exactly how high.
Elon
the
should be able to tell us if he keeps wrecking fucking rockets into it.
Well, the Red Bull rocket from Arizona hit the dome at 73 miles high.
That's it, 73 miles.
Well, an airplane is only 7 miles high, so there's a lot of room above an airplane.
30,000 feet.
30,000 feet times
5,000.
5,600 or 5,280. It's only about. Well,
I'm with you.
Airliners fly
You're
between
tracking.
30,000 and 42,000.
Right.
So at 42,000, that's 7 miles high. So if they hit it at 73 miles high, and that's in Arizona, that's not even the top of the highest part over the North Pole. So it's depending on where that probably hundreds of miles high in the center.
Okay.
So, So you got the dome over it, and then you do have the sun and the moon inside our firmament.
They're inside the dome.
They're inside. They're obviously.
So it's our sun.
It's our sun. It's much smaller. It's probably, they speculate it's probably 32 miles wide. So is the moon. Yeah, it's 32 miles wide is still pretty stinking big.
Not for a sun.
Well, it doesn't illuminate the entire Earth. It's only illuminating a certain amount. It's also utilizing the refraction and reflection off of the dome as it goes around. So that's how you get basically half of the Earth in sunlight or day or night.
Right.
So there is a lot of people that's the first thing everyone wants to say. Well, I can watch the sun go down because of the rotation of the Earth. No, you're watching the sun go out of perspective. And if you watch, there's plenty of videos that show a sun on a very calm, clear, warm day that doesn't have a lot of humidity or anything in it, and you can watch that sun get smaller to a pinpoint as it disappears out of your vision.
But here's the question though: is where does it go? Because it goes from this way to this way.
Well, it circles. It circles. I mean, I got a fucking map right here. Why are we using a coffee lid?
Because I can't see your damn arm.
I mean, I can see it great.
My arm doesn't go that far.
So they asked you to break it off.
Okay. Well, I can't. So the North Pole's in the center. The sun and the moon rotate around.
Pull your mic over.
The sun and the moon rotate around, starting at so during the summer months for us, it starts at the Tropic of Capricorn up top, and it goes down to the Tropic of Cancer throughout the year, and it spirals lower and lower until it hits that in our winter. Okay, and then the next 6 months it works its way back up. And if you look at a heat signature map, it actually matches perfectly to the heat signatures on the Earth, unlike the made up 23.4 degree tilt of the BS that they say that, oh, just that minor tilt makes it warmer here, warmer there during the months and stuff like that. It makes no sense. This makes 100% sense because it works perfectly. I mean, I probably have a picture of it I could show you. I'd have to find it. I didn't.
You probably didn't bring your glasses.
I don't need them anymore. And I'm going to talk to you about something that I was talking to your wife about earlier too. But I don't need my glasses anymore. I don't need my CPAP anymore either.
Oh, I don't use my CPAP anymore either.
Well, she wishes you would. So any questions on that?
No,
What
I
I explained so far.
As confused as I was before we started,
You're a little more confused, or
slightly more right now.
I wish we had a piece of paper or something.
I have silver.
well, so
I'm an adult.
I need a crayon.
there's not even no like, and I'm going to use this word, but there's no like conspiracy that someone fell off the edge of the earth at some point in time before, like whenever.
I mean, you literally
They froze to death before they got.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you're talking about uncharted.
See, look at that.
Uncharted sub 130 degree temperatures across uncharted treacherous ice that, I mean, you could fall through and crevices and all that all the time. So
Don't fall in the crevice.
okay.
You ever lose a remote in the couch?
Yeah, no shit.
I mean, yeah. And okay, so do the countries even look like they say they do? Because that's what we
mean continents?
Or continents. That's what. Yeah, sorry. The
Continents and countries, yeah.
Is that because what we've seen is off of a?
Is Italy still a boot?
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Is it? Do we all look the same as we think the round Earth?
Well, because we can see Earth shape from an airplane. I mean, we can see landmass shape.
From 40,000 feet, you don't really see a whole, I mean, from a weather balloon.
I fly in and out of Key West all the time.
Yeah,
I can see because it's not a
Right.
large landmass.
Right. So yeah, I mean, yeah, you can see, I mean, especially from a weather balloon, and that's what they use to take the so-called satellite pictures. I mean, any picture that is higher than 120,000 something feet is CGI. Everything lower than that is going to be from a satelloon, is what they are. Why do you think? So here's a quick question: why do you think we supposedly saw that Chinese spy balloon?
Weather balloon.
Well, why are you going to send a weather balloon over to spy on something when you supposedly have satellites that could easily do it without being caught?
Okay.
I mean, we literally watched the son of a bitch in the sky, and we supposedly shot it down.
I thought we didn't shoot it.
That's what I heard. I thought we shot it. That's what they said.
I thought we shot it down.
We shot a balloon. That's not very nice.
Well, because China was spying on us. Man, if they wanted to supposedly spy on us, they could do it with satellites. Because, I mean, we supposedly have satellites from Google Earth that we can literally come down and look through your front window. No.
It can't happen.
They put those together from a satellite. From a satelloon,
Mm-hmm.
from a balloon, down to a... then they have the drones. I mean, you have the Google drones that fly around mid-level, and then you have the cars that drive around your neighborhood and take your street views.
So you're saying it's just layers?
It's just layers, and they string them together. Actually, the Google Earth head programmer literally admitted the Earth was flat, and he quit because of it. He says he couldn't stick with the lie anymore, so he resigned because he didn't like having to lie.
Did they kill him?
That's a good question.
Is he still alive?
I think he was such small fry that he basically did that to get himself out of the limelight to where he could hopefully
Just let them say he's a loon?
Yeah.
So you're saying that if we all found out the Earth was actually really flat, it would cause mass chaos.
Do you think you would believe anything the government told you after that?
Well, we don't believe a lot of it.
I don't believe. I'm very like.
Yeah, but
you know,
we are the less than 1%.
Yeah. You know, I don't know. I don't believe in a lot. I've always questioned everything.
Megalodons.
Yeah.
Dinosaurs.
Yeah. Like, no. You know, I don't.
Fast cars.
They're okay. I
Loose
mean,
women. He doesn't believe in any of that.
you know. So
I'm not helping out.
Unfortunately, you can believe in loose women. A few too many out there.
So
All right, we got stuff to do here.
all right.
We're working
Art
on
class. This is art class.
We've got Earth right there.
Yes.
And Earth has a dome.
Yep.
And the sun and the moon are inside the dome.
Yep. So say you got the sun here, you got the moon here. So if it was directly across from each other, that's gonna be probably a full moon.
Okay.
So the moon is actually faster than the sun. So it's gonna go.
It gaps it.
It's gonna gap it every 28.4 days.
Okay.
So
And that's why we have different moon phases.
correct, because of just the angle that the moon is shining on it at the same time.
You mean the sun is shining on the moon?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Correct.
I got you.
But if a lot of times now, I hope you pay attention to this. A lot of times, if you look at the sun in the sky compared to the moon, a lot of times they don't correlate. I mean, a lot of times, supposedly the sun is 93 million miles away, and sometimes the face of the moon, say the moon was closer over here. Well, on
That's why I gave you more than one piece
right.
of paper.
So if the sun's here 93 million miles away, and this is the Earth, and say the moon is like right here, and it's shining on this, but yet you can see sunlight on this side of the moon. We see that quite often, and I mean, so many times.
I think that's where we have no moon.
I mean, I can't figure out how they got it was 93 million miles away. How does anybody know what that looks like?
They've changed that so many different times to backpedal to make supposedly their story sound feasible. I mean, that's all they've done. I mean, the E equals MC squared BS. I mean, the theory of relativity.
It's relativity.
Well, now they had to make the theory of special relativity because everyone figured out.
Because people aren't smart.
Well, because it wasn't working. I mean, you'll really like this one.
Special relativity.
Well, because they needed to make sure people believed in gravity. And gravity creates the time and space, and it all folds.
What is this called?
It's called density.
Density.
That is more dense than the air medium around it, so of course it's going to fall. And everything falls at a typical rate of 9.8 meters per second. But if you find something, I mean, buoyancy, I mean, that's why stuff.
I'm a scuba diving instructor.
Mm-hmm. That's why you have to use ballast. That's why you have to use, I mean, how much weight you're going to need
BCD,
to counteract the air density in the tank and
in your body.
I mean, that's why stuff either floats or sinks because of the different buoyancy. Doesn't matter. I mean, say we put that baseball is going to fall like crazy right here. We put it in water, that's probably going to float.
The ball will float
because it's buoyant. So there are so many things that, I mean, they're trying to say
so
that
it lacks density, which causes buoyancy because there's air between the spaces.
But it still has weight,
right?
Which would normally.
So these things fall at the same speed.
In this atmosphere, yes.
Well, we only have this atmosphere right now.
Right. But if it was in water, the badge protector is going to fall.
It's going to go like this.
Yep. And that's going to float. Although that baseball probably weighs more than the badge protector.
Yes.
So it's density and buoyancy.
Displacement.
Right.
Based on volume.
So, but gravity is still 100% a theory. It has never been proven. It's actually they've backpedaled. The Newtonian gravitational theory they've gone past that.
That would be Isaac Newton, if you guys were wondering.
Just tracking. Are you tracking?
Right.
I'm working with you here.
Right. I mean, that's why you have all the different densities of oil and water and all the different in-betweens that create the substrates if you put them on top of each other.
Like oil in a glass of water.
Mm-hmm. And they, I mean, I should have put all these in a folder so I could show you easier with
all right.
the phone. But I mean, gravity, I mean, you can actually look it up. It's never been proven. They've never found a graviton that they say it's based off of. So the flat Earth is based off of magnetism, electromagnetism. That's how the sun and the moon actually levitate in the sky, because our Earth is there's a torus field that goes around the Earth. We can actually
Inside the dome, outside the dome.
Inside.
Okay.
It's magnetized.
I have to ask it because I don't know.
That's fine.
I got to know.
I mean, the North Pole is definitely the magnetic center
So
Okay.
the North Pole's the center of
everything.
everything. Okay.
Yep.
Not
And
the top.
Now,
it's the center.
so there is no South Pole.
The entire Arctic ring is the South Pole. It's just
Antarctica is not a landmass at the bottom like this. He's saying it's
a ring.
this.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So to help prove that, there was a explorer in the
Hang
18th.
on real quick. Right here, we're going to put a picture of the theoretical flat Earth
Okay.
so people can see it.
Okay. So
Isn't it crazy how I just knew that was going to go there?
that's what editing does. You should go work for NASA. So there was an explorer. His name was Captain Cook, and he set out to find he wanted to circumnavigate
Yeah,
Antarctica,
not circumcised.
and he sailed counterclockwise,
Okay.
but he was never able to turn right. He was never able to go south. Once he reached it, and this is an ice wall. So yes, there is a peninsula near Chile and all that, and that's where you are allowed to basically go have your little tour. And everybody's like, "Oh, well, you can still go to Antarctica. They don't stop you from doing that." Oh yeah, you can go there, but they're going to hold your hand. You can't go freely explore. I mean, they have
Well, your
tours.
snowsuit's not good enough to go by yourself.
Probably not. But in order to explore anywhere, you have to be part of a scientific expedition. There's tons and tons of red tape. It costs a shit ton.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you're typically part of a government program anyways.
Look at my map here. I want to just see this. Go ahead. I'm just listening.
Go right ahead. But so everybody says, "Oh yeah, well they went to Antarctica." Well, yeah, you went to the peninsula. You didn't go all these other places that are all the way around it. But so Captain Cook tried to find a southern route around Antarctica, wasn't able to find it. Took him 3 years, and 60,000 miles later, he ended up in the same spot. So if
So we can only go right here, right? What you're saying?
correct. Yep. That's the peninsula, and that's where like a lot of the regular stations are. That's where they supposedly say the South Pole is. That they'll hold your hand, they'll take you out to this chrome ball, and they say, "Yeah, this is the South Pole." No, and it supposedly moves all the time. So
Someone moves it.
Okay.
no,
They take the ball and they're like,
they say the magnetism is supposedly moving and all that. So it's a toroid.
that's
field.
like those weird cylinders that keep showing up by Moab, huh? It was a guy.
Really,
He made like a
I go out to Moab all the time.
He
so-
made like a chrome. It's like 15 feet, 20 feet tall.
Oh wow.
It's a
Yes, and then it causes all kinds of ruckus because there's like, how did it get here? How
It
did
just
it
all
get
of a
here?
sudden is
It
there,
disappears.
and then he moves it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, they do have that gas station when you turn to go to Moab. That's all the alien.
Oh,
theme-
yeah.
theme. It's all green and stuff. It's pretty cool. That's
So are
always,
there aliens?
Well, they couldn't get here.
well, they're
Because they
interdimensional.
said they're
They can't
UFOs.
get. They can't
so-
get through the dome.
They're interdimensional beings. They're already here. There is a theory that there is land beyond the ice wall. That's actually one thing that Admiral Byrd talked about is unexplored land on the other side of the ice wall that they are hiding from us, that are larger than America. Tons and tons of resources.
But my issue is now you had me at dome. Now you're saying
You almost bought it at dome right there. Huh? Okay.
now you're saying outside the dome.
well, there possibly could be because there are.
You see where I'm struggling though, right?
Well, the majority of people don't even know all the stuff about the globe theory, let alone not knowing jack shit about the flat Earth theory.
Okay.
And so we are more than willing to admit when we don't know exactly something. I mean, if we don't have actual data that we can prove
I'm
it.
just trying, like, logically speaking.
Yeah.
If the Earth is that circle,
Mm-hmm.
not ball,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a dome,
Mm-hmm.
and we can't get outside the dome because boomy.
Well, there might be passages underneath it, and
Al Capone's tunnels.
well, there is also theories that we are just one of many Earths, basically an enclosed puddle.
Your guys, like I'm saying
Mm-hmm.
your guys is because you believe the flat Earth thing, right? And that's what you believe. So this would be similar to like somebody that believes that the Earth is round and there's universe and there's planets. This is kind of similar to that.
Similar.
Okay.
I mean, we don't believe in aliens coming from other planets because we're enclosed in a firmament, and there isn't other planets.
Mm-hmm.
There are luminaries that are actually projected up on our firmament, and that's why. I mean, if you ever
How are they projected?
probably from the North Pole,
Okay.
which we're not allowed to go to.
We can't go to the South Pole. Now we can't go to the fucking North Pole.
You can't go because there's actually a mountain there called Mount Meru.
The only thing we can do is go pole dancing.
That
Costs $10.
It's cheaper than the North Pole.
Cheaper.
and we can go.
Maybe your kindergarten teacher there with the nice boobs.
We're going. That's one of the Mike and Trevor try things. Actually, we just got a call this week.
Yeah.
And she wants to know
You got to go pole dancing.
a pole fitness class.
Oh, fitness.
That's actually probably pretty difficult.
For me,
And me too,
dude, I'm robust.
He's like if he lays flat, he's like a dome.
We're the same height. And I'm like 215 right now.
And I'll talk to you about that later.
I carry
of what I did.
my 215 real low.
It's been a good year.
No, I am a good year.
I've been a good year.
All right, back to this.
Okay.
Okay, so could be an uncountable number of flat Earths.
Correct.
I could be in 10 places right now.
I don't know if that would be the string theory, which I mean a lot of people believe in that we are literally in just a simulation of some sort of a program, and that's why the Matrix that we can. And I do believe a lot in manifesting your
That's
own.
how
your own.
Neuralink's going to get us.
Well, a lot of people talk
You see
about
me
that
just
that,
lobbing
that,
these
that he
into
that he just that he just wants to put that in everybody. No, that's actually something that's supposed to help people with Parkinson's and medical issues and stuff like that.
It's changing the electromagnetic, the electric current of your brain.
I actually have a buddy who has Parkinson's that has two things. They look like pacemakers and then they go up, and he's got wires that go up into his brain and everything, and he can adjust it with like a remote or something. But I mean, he's actually,
if he doesn't want to talk to his wife, he just turns away down. She's like, "Oh, he's having a bad day today. We're going to leave him alone."
Right.
Why do you have so many bad days?
But he did say he had to get an MRI or something, so he turned them off, and then he forgot to turn them on. And then the next day he started having. He's like, "Oh, I forgot to turn that shit on."
I need my no shaky.
Right.
Yeah.
But it does. I mean, he actually looks. I mean, 90%
Normal.
without the shakes and everything. And, very very smart guy. He's actually shit. He's our age. He's already retired, so doing something right.
So am I.
Okay.
I mean, I can only afford to be retired until Monday.
Right.
But
Okay. Unemployed does not mean retired.
same thing. All right. So where we're at right now, we have our Earth.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea how the countries are laid out, because now you've got a north. I can't see it, and I don't have glasses on. So you got a North Pole that we can't go to. We've got a South Pole ring.
You can't go to.
It's now the ring, right? This is
Arctic ring. Yep.
Yep, all the way around. Now, how did the continents lay out here? Yeah, I wish I could see it.
Well,
Just give me like a rough idea.
Well, I mean, just like, I mean, let's say Canada's here and the United States and Florida and Baja, and then Mexico comes down. And then, I mean, yeah, if you just look up flat Earth map, I mean, you can show it real easy.
I think it's CGI.
Well, no, this is called the.
I'm fucking with you.
This is called the Gleason's map.
Okay.
It's been used for navigation for hundreds and hundreds of years.
So now, just so I can understand, we're flat from here to here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, mountains are going to have elevation.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, there
we're
is-
going to have undulations
there
because
is
of
elevation-
land mass.
Elevation change. There's peaks and valleys, but there is no curvature.
So you're saying this is the part that I have a hard time with,
Mhm.
okay? Because I've read something, you know, I've just looked into it like a normal person does when they're like, flat Earth theory. That sounds
right.
like my uncle with the extra chromosome. I mean, you know, that's what people say, right?
Right.
So, in theory, in round Earth theory, like
Mhm.
this, I can leave from my house, get in my Jetsons spaceship, and I can go up in the air, and then I can go in a straight line, and then end up back at my house.
Which has never been done. There's been north-south circumnavigation.
Only this way.
Only that way, east to west. Been
So
done.
you can't go.
Nope. There's been people that have fraudulently said they've done it, but literally they go to that peninsula and they cross the peninsula and they say, "Oh yeah, well that's what we did." So they go down here and then they go back. And we've
Well, they never see any of this.
no, it's usually back and forth on an airplane or something, and they say that, "Oh yeah, we circumnavigate." No, you didn't. You freaking went down and you went back. That's not circumnavigating.
So, if I get in my Jetson space ride
Mhm.
at my house and I set it for straight,
Mhm.
because now I don't even know if we have degrees anymore.
Yep. So everything. So the middle is north. Everything else is south.
Okay.
And
Are there rings of.
well, so you could go west, which would be to the right, which would be clockwise. So clockwise would be west, and counterclockwise would be east. So that's why people say, "Oh well, how do you circumnavigate a flat Earth?" Well, it's just like I can go around my neighborhood, just like I could go around the Earth.
But
Say so.
if I get in my spaceship,
Mhm.
because that's the only way we can do this right now, or my airplane
Airplane.
with lots of gas,
Yep.
and I say I am leaving at a heading of 0 degrees, whatever.
Okay.
And I'm just going to keep traveling straight.
Well, okay. So
What's going to happen to me?
0 degrees would be north.
No, I'm just saying, just
Okay, let's say
what if 90 degrees?
Let's say
I'm
90
saying-
degrees. So 90 degrees would be west.
from
So-
my house. I'm
So
going.
you're going to start flying west, and a compass is going to stay on north. So your compass is going to continue facing north, and you're going to fly, and it's such a minute amount that you will just do a circle, and you will end up in the same place.
So you're saying, ah, shit. Let me see the pen. My house is here,
Mhm.
and I just start flying this way.
Well, you'd be changing headings the entire time. You'd be flying south there.
So if I leave my house and I say I'm going to go south
If you put your head
forever,
if you put it on 180, yeah, then you would be flying.
and I'm going to hit the ball.
Yep, you wouldn't legally be able to go past the 60th latitude,
Which is
right around in there,
right here, like
Yep.
right before it.
Pretty close.
A rocket's going to get me.
They have
Chase planes.
They have military. They have drones. I mean, there have been guys that have tried to sail to the
Edge.
ice wall
Mhm.
and have been arrested and disappear. Trying to remember his name. He was a Scandinavian guy.
So you're
and
saying
he got
if I
caught
get
several times,
if I got in an airplane right now and headed due south,
you'd run into the ice wall.
bonk.
Well, it's only 200 feet high. You'd fly above it.
Above the ice wall?
Yeah.
And hit the dome.
Yeah, probably 100 to 1,000 miles later. I mean, The edge of Antarctica is not the end of the Earth. That is the ice wall, and then there is tons and tons of ice in between that and the dome that you'd probably run into.
Okay, just no. We got.
So we don't even have north.
No, north is here.
North is the North
North is
Pole.
the middle, like a donut hole.
So, but if I'm driving, it says go north. So I'm technically going south because if I keep
No,
going south
you're
that
going this way.
No, you'd be heading towards. I mean, we are so small compared to the entire Earth, so you would be heading that direction, up north.
But then if I pass that, then I'm starting to head south.
Yep. Yeah. If you went past the North Pole, your compass would literally flip and start pointing to the North Pole again.
Oh, okay.
You keep
So you're
straight.
saying, if we're doing round Earth theory, if I left my house here and I went north, if we incorporate flat Earth theory, when I get to here, my compass is just going to go and start pointing north this way.
Correct.
Okay.
It technically would on the globe too,
I mean, north is north.
because I mean it's supposed to be.
It's magnetic.
The North Pole is
pointing
not magnetic
It's not true
north.
north.
Yeah, it's not true north.
It's magnetic north, not true
Correct.
north. Yeah.
Correct.
I know some things.
Hey.
It's close enough.
Okay. Now, we've just advanced to my next question.
Okay.
Okay, so what you just told me is this is the ice wall.
Yep.
Right? Now you're saying that this ice wall could really be like that.
So nobody knows how big it is,
Right.
Really, technically, right?
No, I mean it's uncharted.
But no, I'm trying to understand the theory. So this is the beginning of the ice wall, and whatever it's 200
Usually about 200 feet tall from
Okay.
the ocean level,
ocean level, so 200 feet.
and it has been shown to go all the way to the seabed.
So the ice wall goes all the way
Yep.
down.
Yep.
Now, however wide this ice wall is, then we have the dome start,
Correct.
just on the outside of the ice wall.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a moat.
Yep.
It's like a moat around the earth. It says,
yeah,
you can't get to the castle. You can't.
There are speculation and theories that there is plenty of, like I said, unexplored land on the other side.
So, okay, now let me ask this. Are you saying that this is the ice wall? There could be more land mass here that is usable land mass.
Yep.
That then the dome actually starts out here.
There's actually a lot of ancient maps that show different, basically, continents on the outside, up to 3 layers. So
we really don't. The whole dome thing is a speculation on how far out it is, really.
Yeah, we
Because
don't
you can't get past that.
Yeah, we
ice.
don't know the distance because pretty much anybody that ever really tries doesn't make it back or stopped. I mean, the height is more.
That's a problem with quitters.
they die.
They didn't.
The height of it is more readily available. I mean, shit, we got video of people running rockets into it. So
I need videos
Of what?
of a rocket hitting the dome. Have you ever seen a video of a rocket hitting the dome?
No. Well, I don't.
See, now I don't know if it's a movie.
Do you
If
think we're
every
in a
picture
movie?
I see of the Earth is CGI, then how do I know that every video of a rocket hitting the dome isn't CGI?
I mean,
Our mission,
there you go, right there.
is to be the first civilian in history.
I don't know how long it is. You can probably fast forward a little bit through all the BS.
The Go Fast 2014 rocket.
Is it crashing yet?
Still going.
They'll show it over and over.
This is the rocket going up this
Yeah.
way.
Straight up. Weird, huh?
Going. We're going to have to put a clip of this in. Or else
Yeah.
I'll send you a link to it.
So now it's just going to fall?
Yeah. Falls back to Earth and they pick it up.
I think I saw that movie before.
You've seen that? I don't know.
I saw the movie.
I'm still. I don't know.
It was It was dinosaurs and rockets.
There wasn't dinosaurs.
And rockets. They were together at the dome. It's a lot to digest.
It is.
So if you guys had ever, one thing about rockets,
Mm-hmm.
everyone thinks that, oh yeah, well rockets would totally fly in space and be able to be maneuverable and stuff like that. Okay, well a car pushes off the ground, a boat pushes off the water,
Friction.
an airplane pushes off of the air. What does a rocket push off of in space? If there is no atmosphere, no air, nothing.
An object in motion tends to stay in motion.
But can you adjust that? So, I mean, if you had speed coming out of the atmosphere, yeah, I can understand it going straight. But they're supposedly showing astronauts.
The rocket walk guy that just happened?
Yeah, using air jets and stuff to push himself around and maneuver and stuff like that. There's nothing to push off of.
That photo looks so fake, though.
100%.
I seen it the other day, and I
100%.
was like, this photo.
Oh, this is the scariest photo ever.
I'm sure. Hey, and if it's for real, then yeah, that would be scary. I just don't believe that.
No.
It just looks it's too clear.
So a lot of people talk about, oh, well, that's the third law of dynamics, that equal and opposite reaction for any action.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's actually an easy test for that. Well, there's several of them. So put a string line from one side of the room to the next,
Mm-hmm.
get a little balloon, and put some zip ties on it around the string, blow it up, let go of it. Of course, it'll go flying across on the zip line.
Right.
Now, if you take that same balloon and you put like a piece of paper around the backside of where the exhaust is going to come out, and you let go of it, it doesn't go anywhere because it's not pushing off of any air anymore. It's literally just pushing off of and that proves that it's not the exhausting of something being moved, but it's actually the thrust being pushed off of something such as the air. You can also do that with a little toy car. Take a toy car, put a balloon on it with a little straw at the back, blow it up, let go. It'll move the car. Well, if you do that same thing and you hold a vacuum to create a negative air pressure right there, you let go of it, so there's no air to push off of, it won't go anywhere. So, I mean, that right there proves that rockets could not and would not work in space.
Can we talk about satellites now?
Sure. What is that magical metal that NASA has invented that doesn't melt at 4,000 degrees?
What is powering my Starlink? That's what I want to know.
Drones. So Starlink is supposedly about the size of a
Mesh
table.
network.
Supposedly it's round tables about this big of satellites.
Okay.
And they're 200 something miles high. You literally are going to tell me that you think you can see this table 200 miles away up in the sky?
Well, I can't see across the room,
Okay. Well,
but a normal person.
so
What about the International Space Center? Do we not? We've never seen that either. What are those lights? What are the lights? What are they?
There are plenty of pictures of a spy plane that has been seen that looks just like the supposed ISS.
The light pattern of the ISS?
Yeah, well, not the light pattern, but actually looks a lot like it. People trying to say that they've photographed it at 17,000 miles an hour at 252 miles away. I mean, when you watch an airplane at 7 miles high, how big is that airplane?
Not very big.
I mean, we're talking minuscule.
Mm-hmm.
Now multiply that by 32 times that. You're going to be able to see
reduce
that
the size.
and speed it up from 500 miles an hour to 17,000 miles an hour. Because an airplane, actually, the ISS is slightly bigger than a 747, supposedly.
Okay, so you're saying that drones are what give the signal for like Starlink. Drones are flying at what height for this to work?
Probably they can fly pretty high. They could probably fly up to 80,000 feet.
But they have a finite amount of fuel.
Yeah, that's why they travel quickly across the sky, and then they
just burn up.
No, they don't burn up.
They land, they refuel, and they fly again.
Yeah, they can probably refuel and land. And
So you think they're just fucking launching drones 24/7 to keep my Starlink going?
I mean, There's supposedly over.
I'm just trying to get the lot.
There's supposedly
it's a lot of work.
there's supposedly over 11,000 satellites orbiting this Earth.
Mm-hmm.
From the first day they launched the first one in Russia in 1957 to today, that means we have had to launch a satellite every 2.4 days. Does that make sense?
No satellites ever crashed into each other? That's what crazy. That's what's wild to me.
That makes space trash.
Yeah, we've found plenty of satellites attached to a weather balloon that have crashed.
I'm trying to like the whole Starlink thing really is troublesome to me because it seems like way too many moving parts to keep that many satellites in the air to keep a satellite.
So you were saying it would cost you more than $100 a month to have Starlink if they were doing that. Is what you're saying?
Well, no, I'm just saying it's a lot. There's a lot that goes.
Yeah. So wait,
like if I could put
what are the stars? Are there stars? Are there stars up there?
What are the stars?
That? I'm just curious.
Stars are luminaries projected on the
from the North Pole
on the firmament. Also, that's why they've never ever changed over the history of mankind. The North Pole the North Star has never moved. So that's one thing. Hand me the baseball real quick.
Baseball.
Okay. So
my baseball.
Would you admit this is if this was North Pole, this is roughly where America is?
Close enough.
Yeah, close enough.
Okay. So suppose we are at a 23.4 degree tilt. Okay. Say the sun is shining on this. Now, you say you see the Starlink satellites because of the lights on them, correct? Which is supposedly reflected sunlight. Correct.
Well, lights are lights. It's not reflected.
Well, no, they don't have lights on them. They have
they have reflectors on them.
No, it's supposedly reflected sunlight off of the satellites. That's why you supposedly see a
because
light.
there's chrome or whatever.
Yeah, I mean
stainless.
Yeah. So if the sun is coming in like this,
it cannot illuminate something on the other side.
Yeah, caught in a shadow, just like the ISS, just like all the satellites, just like everything like that. So, but they try to say that you can only see the ISS at dusk and just before dawn because the way the Earth rotates, that it just barely hits it and you can see it for just a slight amount of time. Well, you can supposedly see. Well, I have seen the trail of lights in the middle of the night of the supposed Starlink. So that completely debunks that that is up there high enough because it would be covered by a shadow of the Earth.
But who's launching the damn drones over and over and over and over?
Like I said, NASA
tired.
literally launches 67,000 weather balloons a year. If we had satellites, why would they need to do that?
Well, you'd think there'd be a much better way
Where
to put
do
these
balloons
things.
go?
They use the jet stream. They travel across the United States, and then they're picked up by a skyhook on a C-130 plane. There's been plenty of military pilots that have talked about doing that as their job. And then they reuse.
So they fly from one end to the other, let's say.
Yep.
And then there's a plane.
And there's a conveyor belt that picks them up and brings them back to the other side.
A C-130 plane.
Conveyor belt.
Grabs it by a skyhook, pulls it in, and then they reuse them.
You're going to fly the skyhook plane.
If it tells me the truth, I would just be out there.
I need that.
I might need more than that.
My brain hurts right now.
That's a lot for you, today. It was a good one too. That's an interesting. Now
my eyes.
I love watching YouTube. I'm gonna go home and watch YouTube now. You have no idea.
I've lost mine.
I've learned something.
If you'd like, I can send you plenty of
send me.
Plenty of links on Rumble, especially because YouTube.
Oh yeah, you
got to go to Rumble.
Wherever. I don't care. I watch it all.
As soon as you open a Rumble account, we just got on another fucking watch list.
I already had a Rumble account when I had Power Slap. I was watching Power Slap. I had to watch it. Oh God. Jeez, that was
better than your brain hurting, huh?
Gosh, dang. Oh, geez, that was horrible.
All right. Well, this is
okay. That's
2 hours.
Yeah, we gotta.
My brain can't digest anymore.
No more, but I learned a lot.
We can always do
We're gonna do
part
episode
2
2.
and part 3, and
You know what?
Think
We're gonna have to keep going now. This has to be a fucking series.
That's fine. Because then we have Caleb on to talk about his side.
Yes.
Because I think he's a flat earther too, but I think he looks at it.
It's the religious side.
Yeah. So like,
I
Do you know Caleb Crump?
yeah, he's him. So he's more on. He's like on the religious.
He's the
side
religious side of
of
flat
the
Earth.
yeah.
I mean, I can quote many of that,
Right.
but I stick to the scientific
But,
side
like, that's
because
what he
that's
lives.
what
That's his that's his world. is
Right.
Yeah,
that
so,
whole side of
I mean.
it.
Science is easier to prove because I mean people can always just say, well, I don't believe anything the Bible says because there's weird, sometimes hard to believe stories.
Sometimes, or actually hard to believe.
Well,
I'm not saying they're unbelievable completely, but hard to believe.
Well, you have to have faith to have faith. So that's why I stick.
I believe that before I believed the dinosaurs were real and we went to space.
And you believe in virgin birth
I believed all that before dinosaurs.
before dinosaurs.
Because we're just finding bones everywhere. No. Oh, we found these eggs. No, you didn't.
we're going to Jurassic Park next.
Find no eggs.
I'm taking you. We're going.
I brought
you know what?
I brought some rocks from my backyard.
One of our next adventures is going to be to Dinosaur Ridge.
Okay.
It's right there. It's right there.
I hope we have some headphones so you can talk to me and teach me as we go. Like, in those tours.
I'm gonna lead the tour.
Oh wait, there's footprints too. The rain never washed them away. But I can't tell where my dog walked yesterday. All right.
Some days
enough.
it would just be easier to dunk my nuts in a blender.
Sometimes.
That's something you haven't done before. Maybe that'd be a good episode.
It's Mike and Trevor try things.
No,
which means
I'm
Mike comes first. All right, we're
gonna go catch Megalodon right after this too.
We're just gonna schedule episode 2
Yeah.
because we're gonna come back. I'm gonna have.
So you're gonna go do homework, is what you're doing?
Yes.
All right.
Please do. It's
Please.
it's
This
actually
was a great
much
time.
easier to talk to somebody that's more informed about it because there's so many people.
I was gonna do my research on the other side.
No, please do.
I'm just kidding.
No, please do.
I've been doing on everything. because
Please do.
Dinosaurs.
I've already debunked that. No, that's debunked.
I mean, I think it's funny because a lot of times I get in these debates online with globe people that
I don't argue with anybody online ever.
Well, they get onto a flat Earth site to just go crazy with.
All they're doing to do is stir the pot.
Well, they do that, and I mean, most of the times they're government paid bots, because a lot of them have the exact same questions, and
Verbiage, everything
it's
else.
literally just to cause issues. So a lot of times we just block them because they're, I mean, same shit over and over.
See, I just don't argue with people online because I don't care. If you say 1 + 1 is 6,
Sure,
fucking A, buddy.
right?
Have at it.
Yep, I've had to learn that
Because I can't-
It's a waste of energy to.
I can't do that math in my house, but in your house, cool.
It's
Right.
easier to talk to somebody when,
You're sitting across from them,
yeah.
and you have to say, "I'm listening,
Right.
and I'm listening to understand."
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
sometimes my
For sure.
mind has not bridged the gap.
Right. Now, a couple things I want you guys to do.
Okay.
I'm not sure if where the moon is in its phase right now, but I want you to next
My
time.
wife knows.
Okay. Well, if it's bright enough, I want you to look at the moon when it's just a slight overcast, and I want you to notice that only the clouds directly around the moon are illuminated. Now, if the moon was really 240,000 miles away, it would be a pretty broad spectrum of light illuminating
Are you
all.
giving me flashlight theory?
It's a close and local sun and moon. And
You know what I'm saying? Flashlight theory is from me to you, my flashlight beam stays small.
Mhm.
But the farther my flashlight beam
Mhm.
goes, it spreads, and that's why it dissipates, and you can't illuminate the house down the street because
Yep.
it blows out.
But take a look at that and tell me what you think, because I mean, why would it only illuminate the clouds directly around the moon?
I honestly thought it only illuminated around me, but whatever.
Anyway. We're not gonna go there today.
We've, I mean, I think we've achieved maximum density
That's
for
it.
one day.
Yep. We have no more. What is this called? If it floats?
Buoyancy?
Oh, yeah, we have just
Density. Density
We're starting to
versus
sink here.
buoyancy.
We're starting to. Yeah.
We could talk about buoyancy all day. I'm the king of buoyancy.
You are very buoyant.
And I'm also very buoyant.
But
People are going to have questions.
yeah, I hope they do.
I know some of my fans
Mhm.
have just been waiting
For this.
for the
Okay.
the- You probably just got some friends.
Yeah.
I hope so. You got enough enemies.
Some people I know just don't breathe.
Sometimes they call themselves friends.
They don't breathe through their nose. We'll just say that.
Mouth breathers.
Just saying. All right, we're gonna wrap up.
All right.
We're gonna wrap up this
Episode.
episode. This is episode
1.
Rocky 1.
Yeah. We're gonna do this again.
Was that my dog? Did you hear that?
Someone's trying to get in.
If
gotta go.
somebody made a sound, but you were on the other side of the dome, can I hear the sound?
Never been there.
If I have a warm enough jacket.
How? No, jackets.
You better bring some gloves too.
Something.
I just put my hand down my pants.
Oh.
It's the warmest place. All right,
All right.
we're wrapping this up.
We're gonna go.
We got to go. We're out.
See ya.
Bye.
Join us weekly for our members-only live podcast, but only when you click that join button.